love being Jewish. I love being Jewish so much that when asked to draw a picture of myself in second grade with a distinguishing feature so that my parents could guess that it was me on back to school night, I drew a picture of myself in a dress with a huge Jewish star in it and the word Jew in all caps plastered across my chest. That's a true story. We Jews are a lively people. We love to talk. If you put any Jew from northern New Jersey or New York in front of me, we would talk until we found at least one person we knew in common. And that would take approximately 2.5 minutes, and even still we'd keep talking until we found out that my mom's friend's college roommate was her dad's childhood best friend. When it comes to family events with my big Jewish family, get-togethers are like holidays even when they're not on holidays. Somehow, I always manage to leave absolutely stuffed with food and with at least one present, whether it's an old hand-me-down sweater from my cousin or a silver dollar from my grandpa. When I go, I feel just so full. I leave my big, loud, incredible Jewish family just so full of love. I also go to Jewish sleepaway camp, and whether I'm having mud fights or dancing on tables, I'm just so full of love there too. When Jews party, it is go big or go home. We go all out. You know how some girls scream at the club when Mo Bamba comes on? Well, watch out for me and my camp friends when Ashrei by the Yeshiva Boys Choir comes on. Because we go ham. Yes, even Jewish girls can go ham. I'm Jewish, but you probably can't tell from looking at me or from the way that I'm speaking or from the way that I'm acting. For most of you, the idea that I might be Jewish never even crossed your mind. It doesn't matter to you. You don't care. You have no opinion. You're ambivalent. Sometimes I wish everyone was ambivalent and just didn't care, because it would make my life easier. Because sometimes it's just easier to be left alone to do what you believe in doing. This past September, I was hanging out with my camp friends in Manhattan. There were about 20 of us all hanging out in our friend's apartment. We decided we wanted to grab dinner, so we laughed our way out of her room, all arm in arm, to go wait by this little elevator. When the elevator opened, we all tried to shove ourselves into this tiny elevator, and I just thought we looked so funny that I decided to take a Snapchat video. I captioned it, "How many Jews can you fit in an elevator?" And I posted it on my Snapchat story. A couple of hours later, this kid who I was not friends with and who I had not spoken to in years swiped up on my story, which means he texted me a response to it. He wrote, "Throw a quarter in the elevator, then you can fit a lot." It took me a second to wrap my mind around the words. I didn't really get what they meant. I knew it was offensive, but it took me a second to understand why. And then I knew why. Jews are cheap. Jews like to take any money they can get. If you throw a quarter in an elevator, you can fit a lot of Jews because we will all run after it. I got it now, and getting it sucked. The only way to describe my reaction was that it felt like my heart was squeezing itself, and I couldn't even talk to tell my friends what happened, which is crazy, believe me, because I can always talk. One second, I was big and full and swollen with the love and the rush of being with my friends, and the next second, gone. That's why I like it sometimes when people don't care. When I got home from New York, I told my mom what had happened. She was as disgusted by the text as I was. One of the first things she said to me, though, was, "It could have been worse." You see, we had just been talking about how horrible it was that more and more people were telling Holocaust jokes. How many Jews can you fit in an elevator? A lot, if you're the Nazis. IDK, how many did they fit in the gas chambers? LOL, I thought the Holocaust answered that. These all could have answered my question. It could have been way worse. I was ashamed at first. I had gotten myself into this situation. I posted "How many Jews can you fit in an elevator" on my Snapchat story. I was asking for it. I should have been more careful. But even though some of my friends had dealt with anti-Semitic comments before, I just never thought it would happen to me. I thought my question was like one of those jokes, like, how many doctors does it take to screw in a light bulb? But I was still embarrassed, and I blamed myself. When I told the story to other members of my family, I felt the need to defend myself for even posting that on my story in the first place. And that sucked. And then, after I finished telling them the story, they all said the same thing. At least it wasn't a Holocaust joke. And that sucked. First of all, that sucked because what kind of world do we live in where the words Holocaust and joke can be put together as part of a two-part phrase? And second of all, that sucked because what kind of world do we live in where I tell my family that some jerk said something anti-Semitic to me, and they say, well, at least the 6 million of our people that were brutally slaughtered were not used as joke material. And then I felt that same frustrated rage build up in me, squeezing my heart and curling my fists, because then I was like, why is me posting something about my religion an excuse for someone to say something mean about it? If I posted on my story, I love theater, and someone responded with theater is stupid, no one would say I was asking for it. It's times like these when I wish all people were ambivalent about my religion. But then I remember that when people don't care, they don't help. I wouldn't get days off for the high holidays or people understanding why they can't bring unkosher meat into my house. I would feel ostracized and alone because of what makes me different. Even though you can't see or hear what makes me different, it's still there. And at the end of the day, I do want people to care about this part of who I am. I just don't want them to be stupid about it. It doesn't seem like so much to ask, but it's actually a lot to ask. It's often hard to understand people that are different, but that is not an excuse to treat people meanly. You can treat somebody differently because they are different, but you cannot take what makes someone different and use that against them. People are confused often because being politically correct means treating everybody equally, but at the same time, people get upset when their religion or race or sexual orientation is overlooked. I used to be confused by this too, but over the past couple of years, I've begun to understand. Equality is not about treating all people the same. It is about treating all people with the same amount of kindness and understanding. Equality is not about creating a cookie-cutter world. It's about creating a world where people realize that all cookies, even though they're different, all still taste amazing. I'm Jewish. You can't see it or hear it or feel it, but it's there. And it's an important part of me. I want you to see it. Just please, don't be ignorant about it. Don't use it as an excuse to treat me badly. Just please recognize that when somebody is different, you don't treat them with a different amount of respect. In my opinion, it's not too much to ask.